Okay, so the CWA400. This is a non-adjustable face here, so what you have to do is modify it. Now, the way to do that is this is the normal notch where this will sit in, okay? So it goes like this. And you're pushing down this split ring down here. This split ring is being pushed down into the body, and then you're taking a screwdriver and you're rotating it. Try not to bend your screwdriver, but you're rotating it like this to pop this off of the O-ring. Once you get that, you can position this. In my case, we're doing this in the frame rail. So we're going to most likely weld this to the frame rail or do something off of this. But this is a bracket designed for this thing. You'd have spacing of some sort, but I've got another plate here I could use. So if we, hung it off the bottom of the frame rail and then bolted this and then welded this bead here, it's a pretty good way to mount this up. It also makes it lower, which is what we want. So now we can take this guy here and we can modify this to where instead of our notch being here, we're cutting this notch into our newly clocked position. So on the OEM water pump housing, it drops out about here. So what I would do is I'd place mine somewhat at that angle. So I've got this here, this kind of like that. And of course you could see the original notch is nowhere near where it wants to block into, where it wants to lock into place. So we go to here, we find that this guy is our marking point. So we'll draw and trace around this region right here, cut this out with a Dremel or something similar, make sure it's a nice and clean cut, and then when we go to install this, the lock ring has to be, so there's going to be an opening, right? This opening right here has to be 180 degrees out of this position. And then all we're doing is we're cutting our newly marked notch in the front cover so that when this comes down, this is clocked where we want it to be. So I'm most likely going to be doing this as a kit for multiple generations. I want to make sure that I have this style bracket here fully finished to where anyone can install this in the garage. I'll try doing a bend on the program now on instead of doing a cut and then a weld. And then I'll have most likely countersunk, I'm trying to think 4 bolts here. And then I'll have a riv nut package or something like that to help you guys install this stuff. I'm trying to think of a way to make this truly bolt-on per chassis, and the OEM bolts and stuff for my car are compromised, so I really can't use that. I think that a lot of you have aftermarket anti-roll bars or a different power steering rack or whatever it is on your vehicle, so that does actually alter where this can locate per car, whether it's FB, FC, FD, or Rx7. So what I'm going to try to do is work on a kit here to where you're almost getting a bolt-on setup. You're going to be like 95% there. So I'll see what I can do. I'll include all the hardware. Like, this is a grade 10.9, incredibly high-end hardware setup, because I'd rather just run good M8 hardware. Grade 10.9 for metric is insane, so that's the way to go. And then this thing, the kit that you guys are going to get, is going to be with a connector, because you should be running your own mil-spec wiring for your car. Don't be running the TXL stuff if you can avoid it. So that's it for now. I'll check in with you guys soon, but this should be one of the products that I'm starting to work with on for our cars to adapt to electric water pump and doing it properly.